let's go into another segment that we're going to have Ryan periodically on this podcast and on these YouTube episodes. Is we're going to have some top 10 lists.
Yeah, the 10 count is what we're going to call it. I don't know if anyone else uses that name, but we're using it too. So screw you.
So we're going to have a top 10 list, Ryan. This week's top 10 list is people that should have won the world championship that never did.
And a little caveat before we go, we are not including the AWA or NXT as world championships. This is WWE, WCW, NWA, TNA, AEW is what we are including as world championships. I know some people dispute the AWA as a world championship, but I don't think it was. And also,
it was kind of stuck in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean it was on ESPN, but that was before ESPN.
It was on ESPN, yeah.
But I don't count it. Most people don't, so I'm just going with it. Before we get going, if you do have a top 10 suggestion for us, if there's something you would like us to do a top 10 list on, you can leave those comments on Instagram or Facebook or on this YouTube video or wherever you're listening or watching or however you consume this, whether you follow us. You can leave us a suggestion, and if we use it, we'll shout you out on the show that we use your suggestion. So, and let us know who you think had the better list.
Yeah, how do you want to do this? You just want to go one of us do a list, the other one do a list? You want to go back and forth? What are we doing?
I think back and forth could be kind of fun, but I mean it's up to you however you want to do it. I think.
All right, we'll go back and forth. You want to start at the bottom or the top?
Let's start at number 10 and work our way down.
Okay, work your way up.
You mean mentions first?
You mean work your way up?
Yeah, I guess 10's the worst, right?
We'll do honor mentions at the end, so that way they don't try to figure out what our list.
That's true. You know what? I like this. You're making a bunch of sense here, Nathan. You got this thing down. All right.
Let's go, Ryan. Let's start out with your number 10.
So my number 10. Little off the wall, might catch some people off guard. He didn't have a very long career.
Okay.
But he was super over in the time he was in this certain company. He had one of the most he had one of the coolest maneuvers, finishing moves, had the whole crowd hyped up for him. I am talking about, of course, number 10, the alpha male, Monty Brown. I feel like Monty Brown should have held the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. He, especially in like 2003, 2004, he was super over. He's only had like a couple. He only had like a couple actual. I think he only had one match for the TNA World Championship, but he should have beat Jeff Jarrett. I mean, he was one of the most over guys in TNA at the time. And it's the fact they never gave it to him is just the booking of Jeff Jarrett wanting to beat Jeff Jarrett, which is a shame because Monty Brown was awesome, and I thought Monty Brown should have had a shot. So that's my number 10. The Pack.
All right.
Counts.
Well, if that's your number 10, then there's gonna be a lot of people left off these lists. Let me tell you. All right, let's go number 10 on my side. I'm going with Ryan. I had to put him on the list. I was going to put him in honorable mentions, but I was like, he's one of my favorite wrestlers, so I got to put him on the list. He also didn't have a long WWE career, but he's had a long career, just not in top companies. I'm talking about Elijah Burke, the Pope, the Pope.
Yeah.
Because, Ryan, when he debuted on SmackDown that one fateful night, he cut a promo, and everybody in that crowd just hushed. Yeah. They didn't even know who this guy was, but the way he talked, they just hushed.
He had him in the palm of his hands.
And he was just a manager for Sylvester Turkai or whatever his name was then. So, and then he goes to ECW and he's the leader of the new breed or new blood or whatever they're called. And he fucking knocked it out of the park. CM Punk didn't like it for some reason. I don't know why, but he knocked it out of the park, dude. He was all on top, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, the wheels came off. I don't know what happened. He left WWE, but he went to TNA.
He was over there too.
he was D'Angelo De Niro, the Pope, and he got that Pope gimmick over, and he should have won that belt. Never did.
Yep.
And now he's in NWA, and for some reason he can't even win that damn title.
Well, these
But I
starting off,
mean, some of the fucking Murdoch can win that belt, but for some reason Elijah Burke can't. I don't understand it. Anyway,
yeah, that was.
all right.
I bet people did not expect Monty Brown and Elijah Burke to be on this list. Not gonna lie.
Let's go to your number 9.
My number 9 is another guy. He had a long career. This is different. He had a very long career in WWE. Started out in a tag team, worked his way up. Was one of my favorites in the Ruthless Aggression era. Of course, I'm talking about the gold standard, Shelton Benjamin. I mean, come on, like the dude had all the talent in the world. Now, the only thing holding him back was his mic skills. Obviously, was a little lacking in that department, but you could work around that. I feel like his opportunity to win it should have been winning either the first or the second Money in the Bank.
Right.
He should have won that, and then even if he held it for a week, he should have held that week. He beat Triple H 3 weeks in a row. Come on, man. Like Benjamin should have got at least, or he should have beat Christian for the ECW title.
Yep, agreed.
That's Shelton. I mean, come on, it's Shelton Benjamin. He's awesome.
All right, I like that. I like that pick. All right, my number 9, Ryan. We're going a little old school because I'm not leaving off all these old fogies.
Oh, I got some.
Definitely one that should have won the world title, Ryan. That I don't know how he never did, because he was over, and he's a legend, and it makes no sense that he never won a world title, and that's Hot Rod, Roddy Piper.
Holy crap! It's high on your list.
I mean, why? I know why, because Hulk Hogan didn't want to lose the belt to him. I know why, but why would you not have Roddy Piper as the world champion at some point?
Wow.
Either in NWA, fucking WCW. Like, I don't know how he never won one.
Wow.
Hulk Hogan said that he never wanted to give him the belt because he didn't think Roddy Piper would ever give it back.
Which is probably true, honestly.
So that's probably his biggest downfall, is his attitude in his mouth. But man, that guy should have been a world champion.
Spoiler alert, he's on my list later down the line. I have him highly rated higher than you, I guess. Number 8 for me is another guy. He wrestled since the 80s. He wrestled into the 90s. He wrestled in the 2000s. I was always, again, a huge fan of this guy. And he never moved up. He was always kind of stuck in that mid-card hell. I'm talking about number 8 on my list is the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I feel like he could have had a short little run. Like, it wasn't really the style back then to do short little runs, and so I understand. But they could have gave it to him when he came back in like 2000.
Yeah, and he was the leader of he's the leader of a nation.
Yeah,
he was British wrestling for a good chunk of the years there.
I mean, he could have beat Michaels. He could have beat Shawn Michaels and then gave it back to Shawn.
Or Sid, somebody.
Yeah, it's a shame, man, because he was big. He could move. He could talk.
Well, not only that, but he could have been the first British champion.
Yeah, and we still haven't had that.
No, not Drew McIntyre.
Scott and really count as British. I mean,
that's the Great Britain is Scotland and England, Ryan.
Talking England here. All right.
Okay. Didn't you just say English?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. All right. So what are we at now? Am I at 8?
8.
All right. My number 8 is another attitude problem person.
Wow.
Is probably another reason why he never won it. Carlito.
Ooh, wow.
Carlito, he had all the momentum in the world when he came in.
Yeah, he beat Cena.
And he was the son of a legend, but he came off with his own name. He didn't even mention his dad. He did it his own way. He's over as hell, still is. Crowd still love Carlito.
Dude, yeah.
He was just had an attitude problem, and I mean, part of me feels it was warranted because they kind of weren't giving him what he deserved. I mean, he was a good wrestler. He was one of the best wrestlers on the roster, best characters on the roster, best heels on the roster. I mean, he should have won.
I mean, they put him over Cena in his first match.
Exactly.
I mean, like
Well, that was before Cena was Cena, but yeah.
he was still, but Cena was super over then. So yeah, they pushed him to the moon around the gate, and then yeah, I'm seeing a theme with your list, by the way.
Oh yeah.
A lot of attitude problems going on over there.
A little bit.
Number 7, we're going to a guy who's got some alcohol problems.
Ah.
But obviously one of the best talkers in the business, a legend. He's all clean and sober now, so for that. But number 7 is Jake the Snake Roberts.
Oh yeah.
Now, this is a guy who like won world championships in other companies. I think he won like the fucking Stampede Wrestling World Championship or some shit, but never held a belt in WWE or WCW, which is
I know.
insane. Like,
Yeah.
how does he
is,
never held anything?
It's crazy.
He was a great baby face. Like, I think his best moment to win a world championship was in WCW against Sting, is when I think he should have been world champion. But he could have won it in WWE. Like, he's like one of the best. I mean, he was such a great character. He lived that character. I mean, God, he should have. It's so many missed opportunities for Jake the Snake feuds with the championship.
I agree.
All right, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is I'm going to go with another old guy here. Ryan. Let's go with another old guy. A guy that everybody talks about as one of the best wrestlers in the world. And back in the NWA days when he lost his tag team partners, and even when WCW first started getting on TV with Nitro, maybe even before that, he probably should have won. I'm talking about Arn Anderson.
Ooh, yeah. Damn.
I mean, how many people emulate Arn Anderson? How many people learned from Arn Anderson?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I mean, he
Another,
lived the business too. Everything he did looked real. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how that guy did not win the world title after the Horsemen split up. He should have been, pushed to the moon. Now.
Yeah, and especially like even in early WCW, he was way like he was past his prime and he was getting up there, but still he was over. Like
Yeah.
the crap, and he was another one of the like great talkers that
Yep.
could sell anything, and he could. What's that old saying? He could talk him into the place. Like he could sell a match, and yeah, he was awesome. I mean, Arn Anderson's one of the best and best spine buster ever, in my opinion. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, him and Flair should have feuded for the title, man. Come on, it's like storyline written right there. All right, moving on. My number 6 is a guy who's another guy who wrestled for like he's been in the business since the 80s. He's had a number of gimmicks, some of them good, some of them bad, some of them did not work as well. But I'm talking about number 6, Goldust, Dustin Runnels.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, the guy's put in the work. He's went through some shit ass gimmicks. But my God, was he a worker? We talked about Arn Anderson having the best spine buster. Well, Goldust had one of the best power slams.
Oh yeah.
Every gimmick, man, no matter what, if it was crap, like he gave it 100%. That Goldust gimmick should not have worked, but it worked because of Dustin himself putting everything into it. And again, this was like the new generation Attitude Era WWF. Should have had a run. I mean, come on, like
Yeah.
or he could have won it in WCW. I mean, he's like again, he's one of those gimmick guys. Like Undertaker made it work. very few gimmicks work, but Undertaker and Goldust are two that made it work, and Goldust should have been rewarded for that with a world title reign at some point in his career. Like, geez, he's been wrestling for 40 years.
I
Like,
agree. I agree.
number 6, Nathan.
Number 6. All right, number 6, Ryan, on my list. Got to go with the bad guy, Scott Hall.
Rest in peace, Scott Hall.
He had plenty of chances where he could have been world champion. That some reason they never pulled the trigger on him when WCW or WWE.
So surprising, too.
I know, because when he fought Bret Hart at Royal Rumble, I thought he's got a chance, and he didn't went there. And then he also had another chance with Shawn Michaels. He had chances.
He also had shots in WCW. Like, after the title got held up at Starrcade, it was him and Sting in the finals of the tournament.
Right.
So, yeah. I'm talking about him because he's next on my list. He's number 5 on my list, is Scott Hall. So,
okay.
Everything this is the first time this has happened, which is, I'm surprised we're to number 5, and that's like the first, like, double we've had. But, yeah, everything you said, like, Scott Hall, clearly, I mean, come on. It's Scott Hall.
He was an amazing, he was a big guy that could move. He's a great wrestler. He's a great talker.
Yeah, he had everything, which is so crazy. He was what Vince McMahon wanted.
I know.
Like, how did he never? He was big. He could move. He could talk. He could do everything, man. It's so crazy to think that he never. Like, yeah, he should have beat Bret. He should have beat Sting. He should have beat Shawn. He could have.
And God. maybe if they wouldn't have went to WCW, he would have won it there. But I don't know.
Yeah, they're going in a new direction then, and so it was like, I don't know. But he could have been the biggest thing in WWE.
Yep.
God, this list is just making me mad.
So he's your number 5?
He's my 5, yep.
All right, I guess I'll go with my 5 then, right?
Yep.
All right, got to go with the king of the pile driver, Ryan. I'm talking, since we're not going AWA, got to put Jerry Lawler on this list. Yeah. The man won over 150 fucking belts, but he never won the big one.
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised he never won the NWA title, honestly. Like, especially back in like the 70s.
I think I read somewhere or heard maybe Jim Cornette, big Jerry Lawler fan, and I think they said that if they were worried, kind of like with Roddy Piper and Hogan, that if they gave it to Lawler, that he wouldn't give it back.
That's true. Maybe. I mean,
and that was back in the territory days where, they didn't want that NWA world title to be stuck in Memphis.
That's true. Very true. But yeah, he's the king of Memphis.
There was no national TV show, I don't think, for NWA wrestling. Like, the champion just kind of showed up at different places and was on the local TV shows, and then they do I don't even know if they did pay-per-views back then.
Until TBS started, they just did the local shows. So
yeah, so it's kind of, I don't know. I kind of see where they were coming from with that. You didn't want that belt to go somewhere and not be able to come back out. They'd either have to vacate it or something.
Yeah,
I see why he never won it, I guess. But man, I mean, talk about one of the legends of wrestling that never held a belt.
Right?
He's the king, for the love of God, the king.
He's won 150 other titles, though.
Yeah.
All right, we're down into under the top 5 now. We're moving right along. Number 4 for me is another guy who was one of the best talkers. Had many memorable feuds throughout his career. Career was cut way too short. For me, it's number 4 is Rick Rude. Now, a little controversy here because technically he won the WCW International Championship, but that's not a world championship. That's not the same. It's the same belt, but it is not the same lineage as the World Heavyweight Championship.
It wasn't the title that they had. The WCW title looked a little different. It was not that belt.
This was their attempt at going international, like in Japan and shit. But yeah, Rick Rude again. Legendary feuds with the Ultimate Warrior. With and it
was Macho Man.
Like, how did he not? Another guy that was just there. He was a good heel, but they just never wanted to put the title on him, and it's insane that they never did. And then obviously his career was cut short due to the back injury, and then died before he could make his return. So, Rick Rude, number 4 for me. Just, I mean, what can you say about the man? Like, he was great.
Now, he was number 2 on my list. So,
There you go.
all right, let's go number 4 on my side, Ryan. I got to go with Mr. Perfect. Another one where AWA don't count, I guess. So Mr. Perfect's got to be on the list. Mr. Perfect didn't win a whole lot, Ryan, for being Mr. Perfect.
No,
he won the AWA title once. He won the AWA tag title once, and he won the Intercontinental title in WWF. He won the US title once and the WCW tag team title once. He won 5 titles, Ryan. He's Mr. Perfect.
I really thought he won the Intercontinental title more than that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's insane.
He's Mr. Perfect. He's won 5 belts. I mean, that's just.
Yeah, he should have beat Hogan.
He should have beat Hogan. He should have beat Brett. He should have beat Flair, honestly.
Yeah, he should have been the one to dethrone Flair. Yeah. He should have won the Royal Rumble, the second one that Hogan won, then moved on to beat Hogan at some point.
Absolutely.
You did it again, Nathan. He is third on my list.
All right.
Curt Hennig. I mean, yeah, like everything you said, you just shocked me with those numbers, by the way, because I thought for sure he'd won like more titles than that. That's crazy.
It is.
Yeah, Curt Hennig, he was Mr. Perfect for a reason, and it wasn't just a moniker. He really was perfect. He was great. He never like fucked up hardly ever.
Yeah.
Until he got older, like in his career, it started to happen a little bit. But he was awesome in the ring. Could talk, could sell. One of the best sellers like ever. Like everyone took inspiration from him, from Shawn Michaels to Dolph Ziggler. Like they all took inspiration from Curt Hennig. So Curt Hennig number 3 on my list. Again, a guy that's just had so many missed opportunities in both major companies, WWE and WCW. I don't know how they couldn't push him when he came into WCW. Like, I don't get that.
Yeah.
World champion as soon as he came in.
Like I said, Rick Rude was my number 3. So
I did that to you then.
Yeah.
And then my number 2 is Roddy Piper. So we did a bunch on Roddy. Again.
What's crazy about Roddy is he went whenever he went and made those movies.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the time to pull the trigger on him. When he came back, and instead he fought for the Intercontinental title with Bret Hart.
He was the main reason Cindy Lauper and all that happened.
Yeah.
Like, WrestleMania 1 should have been Hogan versus Piper 1-on-1 for the title. But that should have been the WrestleMania 1 main event.
Yeah.
And I get why. I mean, yeah, Hogan, but Hogan tells 1,000 lies. I could do a top 10 list on Hogan lies. I mean, but yeah. He should have won. I can't believe he never won it in WCW. They were giving the title to like fucking David Arquette and shit. So, like,
it's crazy shit, man.
Yeah. So number 2.
So we're at 2.
Yep.
My number 2, Ryan, is a guy that definitely should have won it. He's one of the best heels to ever be in the heel business of wrestling. The guy had the perfect gimmick to be a world champion.
I know who exactly.
It just made sense. And he didn't win it. I'm going with Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I had him just off my list, but yeah, I mean, fuck. He was. I don't know how that never worked out. He's the fucking $1 million man. Right?
I mean, you have all these heels that Hogan instead of losing belts and getting them back from heels, he would just beat heels.
Yeah,
like. There were so many that should have taken him down, and then he could have won it back from him, and never I don't know. $1 Million Man just made all the sense in the world, and I know he says that the belts are just a prop, but I think that's only because he never won it.
Yeah, I mean they had to just give him his own custom belt to make up for it.
Yeah.
I saw a story, and I don't know where I saw it. I don't know the full story, but apparently the original plan for WrestleMania 4 was for him to win the tournament. And then it was supposed to be down to him and Hogan, and he was going to be Hogan at the end. But then Macho Man was supposed to win back the Intercontinental title, but I think that was when Warrior won it or something. Something happened with Warrior or something. I don't know what happened, but he was supposed to win back the Intercontinental title, and that didn't happen. So they gave him the world title instead. But
That's crazy.
but yeah, I did. Yeah, Ted DiBiase just missed my list. I don't know why I didn't put him up there, but yeah, Ted DiBiase. I think we have the same number one, by the way.
We might.
My number one of the biggest missed opportunities in the history of professional wrestling. And as a little brother, I can attest to everything that he went through being a younger brother. Obviously, my number one is the King of Hearts, Owen Hart. And I know some people think, oh, when would he have won it? The steel cage match, SummerSlam against Bret Hart is when he should have fucking won the world championship. And you can't convince me otherwise that it would not have worked. That was the moment for him. Or if you want to wait after the screw job in the Attitude Era, he should have beat Shawn Michaels for the title. Because that story writes itself.
Completely 100% agree with you. He's my number one also.
It's the biggest missed opportunity of all time, dude. Like,
yeah.
God, he was so good. And he beat Bret at WrestleMania 10. So you would assume, like, Bret wins the title. He should have beat. It's crazy to me that he never won it.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have been champion multiple times. And I think the only reason he didn't is because they soured on the Hart family because of Bret. And
Yep.
and it's just sad. It's sad because he could have been a multi-time heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
He could have just took Bret's spot, as the technical guy, and
the thing with Owen is he was better on the mic and as a character than Bret ever was.
Oh yeah.
So he was the complete package. He was better than Bret, in my opinion.
He was.
And I was always a bigger fan of Owen than Bret Hart. And what happened with his death and all that, and it sucks that he never had that world championship run. And I feel like it was Vince souring on him in the Attitude Era, but I also think Shawn and Triple H probably had something to do with him not winning the world title too.
I agree.
But he should have beat Bret at SummerSlam 95, whatever after WrestleMania 10 was. He should have won it there.
Yeah.
And then Bret could have took it off of him at Survivor Series.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a lot of times when you do these lists, all it does is kind of like when I go back and I watch if I'm gonna watch a few Raws from the past and I'll watch a whole month worth or something, it just pisses me off all the missed opportunities some guys didn't get. And so it's hard for me to go back and watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Ryan, all right, so we obviously left off a lot of people on these lists. What are some of your honorable mentions? We'll go through.
Most of my honorable mentions were the ones that you had. Ted DiBiase, Jerry Lawler. You kind of knocked, but I do have Tito Santana.
Okay.
I feel like technically, I guess he did win the ECW title, but it was before it was a world championship, so I don't count it because.
Right.
I've got Aleister Black. It's kind of a new guy. I kind of wanted to throw at least a couple of guys who are newer in the company. Never really had. He won the NXT title, but figured he would have won the AEW title by now. I got Lance Storm, just a good technical guy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, should have won the ECW title.
Yeah,
I knew. See, I knew Lance Storm would be the one where you were like, I don't know. And then one of the other major names I've got is William Regal. I feel like talking about British guys and stuff. Like, I think of his substance abuse stuff that he went through, but yeah, he should have won when he was King of the Ring. That was the moment.
I agree with that. Ryan, I got some people that definitely aren't on your list here.
I'm excited because you told me how many honorable mentions you have, and now I'm just like, I was racking my brain to try to think of who the hell you had.
Well, we'll start off with Tully Blanchard.
Okay.
Tully Blanchard was hot when he was with the Four Horsemen, just like I said with Arn Anderson.
Yeah,
when that Four Horsemen
the whole group was
Yeah, he should have went up. I don't know. He could have been. And we got MVP.
Yeah.
MVP should have been the champion in Impact for sure.
Yeah.
Um, not sure what happened there. He could have been.
He was another guy who had like the perfect gimmick to be a heel champion.
Yeah, agreed. We got Magnum TA on this list.
There it is. I knew there was a big name from the 80s that I missed, and it's Magnum TA. I was like, there's a guy who got injured, and I was like, I couldn't remember his name. Yeah, that's it. That's who I was thinking of.
And then then after that, Ryan, you get into some guys who just should have won just from being the sheer size that they are.
Oh, big men, mini boys.
Yeah, no, you should have had Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy.
Yeah.
And Earthquake, all guys that should have beat Hogan. I'm just saying.
Hogan could have been like a 17-time WWE champion.
I think I feel like that should have happened.
Yeah, I mean, with you.
Jerry Lynn.
He won the ECW World Title, didn't he?
No.
God,
no, he did not.
God, for sure. That's why I didn't put him on my list because I was like, I didn't check it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He should have been a champion for sure.
That's incredible. Could have won the fucking ECW World Championship.
I know.
What the fuck? No shade to Just Incredible, but he ain't no Jerry.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot, and I'm sure we're still missing some.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure we're missing a bunch. People in the comments will be like, "Oh, you forgot this guy," but that's why we.
I got one more. And I can't believe you left him off your list. I got two more. It's from the same group. Ryan. All right, you ready for this? X-Pac.
Dude, I thought about it, man, but I was like, I don't know when he would have. Like, I tried to be like, in my thinking was like, where was a moment where they were over enough or had the momentum enough to win it?
I think X-Pac should have won it whenever Triple H broke up DX. Okay. And either him or my other guy on this list, Billy Gunn.
Yeah, Billy Gunn, I thought about for a hard minute. I was like,
they both could have beat Triple H for that belt whenever they split up DX and he,
Yeah. Billy Gunn for a minute there was, I mean, he won King of the Ring.
Yep.
And so, like, there was a moment where he probably was getting pushed to that spot.
I know.
No Road Dogg gloves?
No
Road Dogg gloves? Come on now.
Oh, come on now, Ryan. Road Dogg was John Cena before John Cena. He had like 3 moves.
And one of them was humping his opponent, so
all he had was his mic sticks.
True.
And a corner that can carry him.
Oh, damn.
And then another person, Ryan, that probably should have won a world title, Rick Steiner.
Yeah,
Rick Steiner, when he was in WCW at the beginning, before they came to WWE, he main evented a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And he had the wrestling ability for sure.
Even later, like, he would come out and the whole crowd would go, ooh, like,
yeah.
And he won the United States title like 2 or 3 times. He won the television title, but yeah, I feel like they never, and I guess it was towards the end of WCW, but they never did a Scott and Rick title like for the title.
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna throw one more in here to end it off, Ryan. One more honorable mention that I think should have won it, and I think he should have won it in a big old Hell in a Cell match, Ryan.
Ooh,
I'm talking about Rikishi.
I thought they were gonna say Ryback.
What the? Rikishi? Why the fuck would I ever say Ryback? Rikishi should have won the title whenever he turned heel, and he ran over Stone Cold.
Yeah, like that went nowhere because he turned face like 3 months later.
I know. I mean, that should have been his moment. All right, Ryan, that's going to end that. We'll do another top 10 list maybe a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, and so like I said, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave us some comments down below of some top 10 lists you would like to see us do in the future. If we use yours, we'll shout you out on here or on Instagram, TikTok, wherever. And let us know who you would have put on your list, and if there's any glaring names that we missed, because I'm sure there's a bunch. Let us know who had the better list as well. All right.